And good morning, golf fans. It's TGD Today. It's GolfRap right here on thegolfdirector.com. I am George Honeycutt, the godfather, of course, and with me, as always, HR3, Hugh Roy III. Are you in a good mood today?
Yeah,
we
fine.
got a very special guest with us.
do.
We got actually somebody that can hit a golf ball.
Well, that makes two of us sitting at this table.
Whoa, hello. Chad Wiebelhouse, head golf professional from the Thistle.
Good morning, gentlemen.
We are glad to have Chad in the house.
No question. No question.
And we love the Thistle.
One of the best conditioned golf courses around and a lot of fun to
Best
play.
on the beach, I think.
Yeah, just the atmosphere
doubt about
itself. It's incredible.
Beautiful clubhouse, gorgeous, gorgeous surroundings. Probably the fastest putting green, practice putting green. I mean, the guys, I took the Saturday golf group up there a couple weeks ago, and they're down there, and they're hollering at me. I'm up on the patio putting the groupings together. Hey, George, look at this break. Hey, George, look at this. Hey, George, look at – guys, I see it. Go. Just practice. Otherwise, you're going to shoot 400 out there.
Oh, yeah, no question.
But the golf course, Chad, I gotta thank you and Jamie and everybody there. It was in phenomenal shape, great condition. Bunkers are beautiful. The greens are just perfect. I mean, we didn't see a bobble all day.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you again for having me. On behalf of John Pridgeon, our maintenance staff, I always like to mention those guys.
Yeah.
They're the ones making it happen out there.
27 holes.
Yep. It's a beautiful facility.
And all of them are there's not one 9 better than another 9 or whatever. Of course, there is a certain 9 that we haven't been on in quite some time. It seems like every time I go out there, we're on Mackay Stewart. Mm-hmm. Mackay Stewart. I'm thinking they might have closed down the other 9. I don't know. Did it blow up?
My question is,
they know that I would probably get back there on the back part of the property on the Cameron 9.
Right.
That I would probably get back there and get lost, never come back.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
That's
They'd
true.
have to send search parties out for me.
That's highly possible. Absolutely. Oh.
So, but God, what a beautiful place. Thanks so much for having us. And as I mentioned before we came on the air, the boys already wanting to go back. So maybe I can drag the old man out there. We can get supposedly somebody the other person that can hit the golf ball in this room.
Yeah, well, when I get back in town, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, you got a Champions Tour event coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I leave Wednesday, so be gone for a little while.
If you want to win it, I'll caddy for you.
Yeah, well.
If you just want to so qualify or get there, then get somebody else.
Yeah, I hear you.
So,
How many holes would you caddy, George?
He gets
they
to
give
drive
you
a cart, so he'd
they
be
give
all
you
right.
a cart.
So
We wouldn't have to worry about EMS.
48 volt
I'm just saying.
with a horn. Can I have a horn?
Of course, the beauty of it is my golf bag's not that big, so I think he could handle it.
He's got the tiniest little golf bag.
And unlike most golfers, it doesn't have that many balls in it, right?
Yeah, no, I only carry 2 or 3.
You only need one. That's all you need, right?
Well, I
one.
need 3, just because you hit a wedge, you might scar one. So,
Gotcha.
you know how particular we go.
I forgot how good you were.
Yeah. Such
Chad.
is life.
Did you watch any golf this weekend, bud?
A little bit. Yeah, I watched Jason Day. That was pretty impressive wire to wire. I think first time in how many years that's happened, especially at the Palmer. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Good stuff.
It was, and it just goes to show. We've talked about on this show how many times, George, and it's not necessarily the guy who hits it the best that plays the best.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not play his best yesterday, and he just made the mistakes in the right places and didn't do some of the dumb things like we saw from, like you were mentioning, Stinson, and then you look at Troy Merritt hitting in the water on 18. And,
right.
I really thought that young man had a chance. I mean, he was sitting in a perfect place on 18, and it played right into his trump card, hitting that cut shot. And just pressure of the moment apparently got to
Well, yeah, and we're going to talk about that before we get off the air today. But, I mean, whether it was Merritt or Kevin Chappell or –
Chappell played pretty solid.
But you could just tell that the knees were knocking, the nerves were there. You could see it in their hands with the putter. There was a few approach shots that were tugged on at the last minute. You could tell a little heavy right hand at the bottom end. So for Jason, he's just thankful that all of a sudden he comes in. Great up and down par on 18, by the way.
No question.
Phenomenal shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that pin's not exactly in the most heartwarming, welcoming position.
You're right. And I think the thing about it is that the tee shot was what was surprising to me from him
good point.
there.
Yeah.
The second shot, I thought he played it in the only place he could play it.
Right.
I mean, because that bunker, really, all you got to do is get it out, and it's going to run down there.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
just get it out of the bunker.
Well, he was taking the hazard out of play.
Absolutely.
With the approach
No
shot.
question.
Yeah, no doubt.
And, you know, to get that up and down. The most disappointing thing about Jason Day yesterday was at 16, he drives it out there 342 3 yards, hits a 7-iron in there, and it doesn't even sniff hitting the green.
Right.
I'm like going, hang on a minute here.
Right.
I mean, that's right in your wheelhouse.
Right.
And, you know, it goes along, doesn't make birdie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then he makes a heck of a birdie on the hardest hole in the golf course, 17.
Right.
So, you know, things just weren't clicking on all cylinders, but yet, you know, he managed his way around there. And
he got it done.
Well, he did, and it was almost like he got a gift. No doubt about it. I mean, the others that, you know, at one point in time, there was 3 of them tied for the lead with Stinson a shot behind. And then they get to the par 5, and Stinson, for whatever reason, decides to hit the Frankenwood again, you know, the 3-wood. Hits it a little chunky. He leaves himself about a mile and 3/4 back. And, you know, he hooks it into the water. He gets a favorable drop.
He better be glad it crossed land.
Yeah. The drop point was real favorable
But then
for
hit
him.
an awful putt.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, if that guy plays halfway solid yesterday, then you got to shoot out with him and Jason.
I was really hoping to see Stinson and Day come down. I didn't figure Merritt would make it. You know, I was watching Kevin Chappell. I didn't figure he would make it. I was wondering if Zach Johnson was going to go pull out a 65 out of his backside to get in the run of this thing.
Which he got close.
He got close, and then we had Karadesh, Shafi Bonrat. You know, I had to bring that up. Just another name that I love saying. Hideki Matsuyama had a good tournament.
But, I mean, just made some of the dumbest mistakes coming down the stretch.
Sure.
I mean, you look at it, and, you know, and you look at this field, and after seeing all the stuff and the social media and then the press, and it was amazing that, you know, some of the top American players just did not participate in this event. For a man that has done more for golf, and it is you know, it's disappointing. I mean, this is more of an a European event than it was, you know, a U.S. Tour event. Yeah,
but again, let's comment real quick on Rory McIlroy. What's up with him? Is he showing signs like Jordan is? He took an extended amount of time off during the holiday season. But where Jordan went out and played, you know, spot. And we've talked about Jordan just being burned out.
And Jason Day talked about that this week. You know, I think that's exactly what's happened with Jordan. I think he's got to go home and just chill out.
Yeah,
and he's doing it. He's doing that now. But Rory goes out, starts with a 75, shoots 67. Then has a 75 and shoots 67. I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah.
8 shots. You know, you got an 8-shot variance. You can't win on this tour with an 8-shot variance each day.
You can't win on this tour with a 3-shot variance.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just sounds to me like he's just it's almost like it's time to tighten things up a little bit and kind of rein it in and get things going in a particular situation. Because he is just all over the place. It's either really good or it's really bad.
Driver,
There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
He's so worried about hitting it 340-something yards instead of putting the, you know.
Well, I mean, when he's striking the golf ball, him and Day right now are probably 2 best drivers of the golf ball that's in the tour today. We want to say Dustin Johnson is, but then we watch him blow up. Just absolutely the wheels come off. You know, I don't. As we come into Augusta, guys, it is just. You see Stinson and he's, you know, a bridesmaid, not a bride. I mean, this guy's got more top 5 finishes than Carter's got pills.
And George, look at it this way. And you know, Chad, you can agree with me if you want or disagree. But I think a lot of this, what we're seeing, George, when you talk about, you know, the variance in the scores, some of the crazy golf shots that we're seeing, it's almost like these guys are experimenting with things to try to get ready for Augusta.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Ooh, says the wise man.
You know, trying different clubs, trying different putters, trying different type shots, doing different things that you don't normally see. Now, that just kind of one of those ideas. I could be wrong, but I mean, you see some of the crazy stuff that they're doing. It makes you wonder.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
You know, because a lot of these, you know, you look at a lot of them. I mean, number 11.
So when do they shut off the, let me try this, or let me do this, or let me try this, or I'm making this little tweak. I'm putting more pressure in my right big toe than I do normally.
It's not that.
You see my point?
Yes.
When do we stop? Do we stop it this week at the match play?
No, I think.
Do we stop it next week in Houston, or do we stop it when we arrive on the property at Augusta?
When you drive down the Magnolia
and you
Lane.
hope it's ingrained, and then it just becomes automatic.
Well, I mean, yeah, and the reason I say what I said is because you look at.
Because you're not showing up to Augusta and working on this stuff.
Oh no, you've already got your mind made up. Your game plan's already set and everything's done. But look at the fact they're hitting the irons off number 11 yesterday, and they've got 210, 12 yards into that pin, trying to hit long irons in there, high, turning over, whatever. It just started to make sense yesterday, looking at it and watching it. You know, and yes, I did watch.
So why not just bump something up there, Hugh? I don't understand that. I mean, these guys are so good, and you know their sweet spots are millimeters compared to my feet.
And see, that's where you're missing the point. I think this is where they're trying to do this to pinpoint it and to get comfortable trying to hit these higher, you know, softer landing shots for Augusta.
With longer irons.
Yes.
Gotcha.
From those distances, because you look at what they've done at Augusta and how long they have made that golf course now, you've got to get the ball up in the air high and soft, or you've got no chance. And you saw a lot of that, working the ball left or right against a right-to-left wind with longer irons and the wedge shots that they were hitting, trying to get them to where they would go in there and take one hop and skip, stop. And, you know, it just – I don't know, and I could be wrong, but it just looked like, you know, you look at some of the cutoff shots that Jason Day was hitting into greens and things. It's almost like they're trying to get into that mode of I've got to hit this quadrant here and this only. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now that Day's done what he's done, and of course we automatically have to put him in the running. We talked last week about all these guys now are picking up these wins, which are past master winners. Bubba Watson, Adam Scott. So now do we throw Day into the top 5 at Augusta?
I don't think there's any question about it. We've been putting him in there for the last 3 years. I mean, the guy hits it 9 miles. He hits it straight, and he hits the ball 9 miles in the air. Yep. I mean, that's a perfect – and he putts fantastic. Mm-hmm. Puts him right in the – I put – if it doesn't put him at the top of the list, he's in the top 2.
Right. But at some point in time, we're going to have to start knocking some guys down to number 6 and number 7. Is Jordan one of those guys?
I think Jordan's 5 or 6, yeah. I do. The way he's played lately, absolutely.
Yeah. It's sad.
No,
it's I have
not
to agree
sad.
with you.
It is not sad.
I have
this
to agree
kid
with
had
you.
one hell of a year last year and goes out there and just wins everything and blows everybody out of the water. And all of a sudden you expect him to walk back in and follow it up. It doesn't happen that way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, can he win this golf tournament? Absolutely. And he's going to get there and have a rebirth of fire in his belly and ready to go. I just think you're looking.
Well, just weeks ago in L.A. and other tournaments, everybody was willing to just give another jacket to Bubba. And then we haven't heard or seen from him since.
And I honestly, as much, I'm glad Gene's not here, but I mean, I think you have to put Bubba in there. I think Bubba's in the top 3, no question, with his shot making ability, the way he's been playing. I mean,
his couple of jackets already.
Right.
Yeah.
And he loves the course, obviously.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's like, saw a quote the other day. He said, you know, if I've got a swing, I got a shot.
Sure.
Well, this guy can do stuff that other people can't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only person that can hit a driver and a wedge or a sand wedge to 13 at Augusta.
Right.
He's the only person that can hit that kind of shot. Yeah. And, you know, you look at him, Jason Day, and then, you know, you would think Rory.
Do you put Stenson in the top 5?
I don't think. I think so.
Stetson.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Stenson literally could make his way around Augusta with that 3-wood.
Yeah.
I saw him hit the 3-wood on 14, and from, you know, stepping off of 13, you go back to the back tee and go up that hill, and his caddy's telling him, okay, it's 273 to reach the crest top left, and then it's 281 to get the clear to get the hop. He takes the 3-wood and just aims it just inside the grandstands on the left. I mean, literally, those people sitting in the grandstands,
Right.
they felt it coming across the front of their nose.
Right. Yeah, he's carrying that
You
thing
just hear the
285.
whiz, and it goes up there, catches the top of the hill, kicks right, and goes bounding forward. He's got 9-iron to 14.
Yeah.
And they can't extend that anymore.
Right.
There's no more room back here to go.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, phenomenal what he can do with that club. Again, he can take it over the trees around the corner on 13. He can hit it down the left on 10 with that rope hook and catch the swell. So, I don't know. I think Stinson, the only thing I see as fault of Stinson is if his putter goes cold, it's cold.
I mean, there's
It's
times
cold.
he looks like he could not putt it in the ocean off the bow of the Titanic.
Right.
And it's at the bottom of the
Right.
ocean. I mean,
Right.
he hit some putts yesterday that were just that like he threw up on himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's having trouble finishing. What,
Yeah.
seven runner-ups in the last
Well,
year and
that's
a
what I
half?
said.
Yeah, he's incredible, but
He's
can't
a great
finish it.
bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Never the bride.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
for Jason, this is his 8th PGA Tour win, his 7th in 25 months. He's won 7 times in 25 months. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
A little fact.
I'm glad.
A little factoid.
I'm glad I had
I'm
you
doing
to-
my job.
Glad I had you to do all that research for me. But I just think you.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Thistle's calling. We got
Thistle's
a cart
calling.
problem.
It is actually, yeah.
We got a cart problem. But I tell you what, though, George, I mean, I think you've got to look. Basically, you look at Jason Day, you look at Bubba, and then you're looking at Adam Scott. And that's your top 3 for Augusta, period.
and you want to go ahead and put Adam in that top 3?
I don't think there's any question. The way that man's playing right now,
And the putter.
oh, my
Yeah,
gosh.
forget it.
So you've got Jason, you've got Bubba,
Mm-hmm.
and Adam Scott.
Yep. And then I think you look at Justin Rose. That
Yeah.
man has
You
been.
see?
He has been in the thick of every tournament,
Yep.
every week he's played.
Another top 10 this week.
And I
although
mean-
he just looks like you keep waiting for him to surge up to the front and just start running away with something.
And that's what scares me about it. That's what makes me think of him, because it's about time.
Yep.
Oh.
The sleeping dog's about to wake.
You're talking like that dog's about to wake up and start biting somebody.
And you don't play that well and that solid, even though you're not top 1, 2, 3.
Right.
You're right there in the thick of it, and
Right.
you're in the last couple of groups every week. Sooner
but-
or later, that Englishman's gonna get mad.
Yeah.
And when they do, that's you get over it. Get
Well,
ready.
ball striking wise, no one's ever questioned his ball striking.
And it was average this week.
Well, yeah, he shot 73 yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, he's one of the better putters on tour. If you sit and look at his, strokes gained to putting and stroke average and putting average and things like that, I mean, he's one of the better putters on tour. But, my God, you just keep 73? I mean, he goes out and shoots 67. All of a sudden, he's right up there at the top of the leaderboard.
You look. I was watching yesterday. And you see a lot of these guys hit great tee shots and wind up in these divots.
Right.
And there were some pretty iffy shots that guys you're thinking, they got 120 yards or 100. They're going to knock this stiff, and all of a sudden you see the line, you go, oh, kidokey, here we go.
Chapel got into that horrible divot. Yeah.
I mean, it's just little things can happen. And I saw Justin drive it in the rough a couple of times yesterday or day before yesterday, and then yesterday. And Mr. Palmer doesn't mess around there. I mean, his defense is where it bottlenecks. He grows that rough, and you get in there, it's hard to stop it into those greens. So, but it's I think he's one to watch. I really do.
Well, Chad, you got to come back and join us. We're getting ready to do our programs for our Masters coverage, and do forecast projections. We talk about the different players. This week, of course, we got match play coming up, so the brackets will be out literally in about 24 hours. So that'll be a lot to talk about this week. I wanted to mention, folks, the LPGA was out in Phoenix this weekend, and I hope you were able to catch this Si Young Kim in what she did. This little girl posted 27 under par. She shoots her last round 10 under 62 to win this event.
That's golfing your
That's
ball.
golfing, as HR would say, golfing your ball.
Yeah.
27 under par. At one point in time, she had an 8-shot lead. Next week, she won't be able to break 80. That's just the way it goes on the LPGA Tour.
And guess what? Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
She's got her
You
win.
shoot 27 under and shoot 10 under your last round, and who cares?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Heck, if I did something like
Pretty
that, I'd
good
be sitting
stuff.
at home. I wouldn't move for a month.
Exactly.
And interestingly, she's coming in and she finishes on the 72nd hole, and she looks over at her caddy and goes, "Did I shoot 10 under?" Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Yes, you did there." And she goes, "That's amazing." She had no clue.
Well, that's the best way to be.
She had
Yeah.
no clue.
Then you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So congratulations. She didn't just run away with it. I mean, she took an airplane, rental car, and she stayed overnight. Mm-hmm. The rest of them couldn't even have caught her. So congratulations to her. Again, good tournament. Nice golf course they were playing out there in Phoenix. So that'd be one I'd like to get out on. It was a pretty track. Also, in the Arizona area in Tucson was the Conquistador. And Mr. Woody Austin with 16-year-old son on bag. 18-year-old son was in the crowd wishing that he was behind the ropes.
Yep.
But Woody ends up pulling this tournament out. And, again, we talked about it on the PGA Tour, like, you know, Chappell or Merritt or whatever. You just watched them Stenson fall by the wayside. On the senior tour, the same thing was kind of happening. You had guys that were up there at the top of the leaderboard, and then Woody just goes on 16 and decides, okay, I'll throw it into the bunker, par 5. He's in the bunker in 2, green side, and throws it in for an eagle. All of a sudden, he's got a 2-shot lead. And then we see Bernhard Langer doing his thing, as he always does. And I really do believe, Hugh, that for Bernhard, this away from the chest, you see his hands literally going away from the chest from the anchored stroke. That little putt of about 3 feet that he pulled left on 17 was the nail in the coffin. And then, of course, he puts it in the water on 18.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, I mean, that 18th hole, it's an intimidating hole. It's just one of those.
Well, stroke average-wise, it's one of the toughest holes on the tour.
Yeah, and it always
So,
has been. And,
yeah.
you know, and that golf course, 17's a good one. You know, I was happy to see it for Woody. They showed a lot of footage, you know, shots that he was hitting. I mean, where he hit it in there 2 feet, because he's one heck of a ball striker. It's just a matter of, you know, how many times, you know, let me bash myself in the head, Woody Austin makes putts. But a very close friend of mine, I sent him a text last night congratulating him, and it wasn't 5 minutes later. He sent it back. Thanks, you. Hopes all's well. And just a great guy. You know, he was here for the grand opening that we had a long time ago for the Golf Academy, and he's a good friend. And to see your friends win like that and to go out and do something, that's his first one, and a good one. So
he's one of the more likable players on the tour. I mean, everybody just seems to get along with Woody, and for him to be able to hold on to it yesterday, and he did it with a bogey on 18. But this was after he had pulled driver on 18. And 18, folks, if you didn't catch the coverage, 18 is from where the tee box is, it's considered a dogleg right. And you got water on the right, you got fairway, and the fairway happens to be crowned in the middle. So it slopes down toward 2 bodies of water, left and right. And Woody decided to hit driver. He hit it straight when he was planning on a cut. And it went straight, dead into the left water. Then he sits, and Wargo was playing with him, was he? Wargo gets up smartly, hits a 3-wood to the middle part of the fairway. But lo and behold, he ends up in a divot. We just talking about that.
and then you got 2-something uphill.
Yeah.
Right.
It just
And then,
it's
but
just all
Bernhard
hard.
Langer, who was really the only person out on the course that could give him a run, after you see Woody go in the water left, you pretty much figure the best he's going to do is make par to a very back-to-front sloped green, and you're coming in from 200 yards.
and you're shooting uphill.
So Bernhard had to figure, okay, he's in the water left. I mean, you couldn't mistake the splash. And the best that he can do now, meaning Woody, is either par, because he's going to hit 3 after the drop, or bogey. I need to make birdie to put this thing into a playoff.
Yeah.
He takes a 3-wood himself and absolutely fans it right. It never even lands. It lands outside the hazard line, bops right into the water, and he's now coming in from 225 where his drop area was.
Yeah.
And I mean, he never had a chance to give the tournament, the win, a run. Again, he's right there and finishes second. But, you know, I don't know. Did he just play the wrong shot? Did he not pull it off well? Did he not execute? Because Bernhard Langer is known for execution.
I just think it was one of those non-executions because you see him make a finish every now and then. It's like, you know, he's kind of giving it the whoop-de-whoo when he finishes and you don't know where it's going.
You're talking about the spin?
Yeah, and it ends up being perfect. And I just think it's one of those that he just didn't pull off.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, there's no room for error out there on 18. So if you either put it in the fairway and take your lumps and hit what you've got to hit into that green, you know, or you try to push it down there to make it easier. You know, it was nice to see Jim Carter finish up there good, too. I mean, that's the first one that he's played very well. So it was nice.
Well, you look at the standings for the year. Bernhard Langer, I mean, Woody wins the 16 under par. John Carter, it was good to see him in the running at 15 under. But Bernhard Langer is again leading the Charles Schwab Cup. He's got in 4 events, of course, a victory already. He's at $456,000. Duffy Wardolph is second at $368,000. Esteban Toledo, your buddy.
Yep.
He's in third at $292,000. Tom Lehman, Woody Austin, of course, with this win, jumps in to the fifth place of the Charles Schwab Cup chase right now. He goes from 68 to fifth. Not a bad little move.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad at all. Freddie Couples, is Freddie like 112 this year?
Dude, I tell you what.
Is he?
No. Because watching his swing, it looks the same as it always has. He actually looks healthier now than he has in a long time. And, you know, it's just a matter of what.
We got a new couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a matter
Made him healthier.
of what you know, what strikes his itch, you know, and gets him going.
Well, next week we spoke about Hugh. He's headed off, of course, to Mississippi for next week's event. So we wish you all the best of luck there, bud.
Yeah.
And again,
a little work to do, but we'll see what happens.
If you really want to make a push for this, you know, I'll take some time and run down there and tote the bag for you. So be happy to do it.
It's pretty bad when you got to have EMS on call when you caddies.
Yeah, does the cart have those paddles? What do you call them?
Yeah,
right. Defibrillator.
Defibrillator on the cart. You need a defibrillator on the cart.
I got my nitro. I just hook up an IV.
Yeah.
So,
I know this is my first time here, but there was a little bit of an uncomfortable silence there when you asked that. If I'll take that as a no, that you want George on the bag.
I just don't want Bethany getting pissed off at me, so I'm good.
wow. Did I not caddy for you at the Open qualifier?
Or the EMS distraction, you know.
Yeah.
They'll turn off the lights. They will. They'll turn them off. So it's not the siren. They don't even crank on the siren anymore. It's no big deal. Chad, thanks so much for joining us, see us from Thistle. Look forward to come back up and see you soon.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
And you're welcome back anytime you want to come.
We'll do,
anytime.
And don't let my wife give you any flack either.
No,
you know?
she takes care of us. She's an ally, that's for sure.
Yep. Our best to everybody out there. Do that for us.
Thank you, George. You bet.
Super. For HR3, I'm, of course, George Honeycutt. We want to thank you for joining us today right here on thegolfdirector.com. This has been GolfRap. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Digital Network for thegolfdirector.com. Be sure to check out our featured golf course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, much more. Need help with a golfing vacation? Just call Dave right here at the Golf Director. Give us a call at 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. You can click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're available, and you can find us on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, Catch.me, and, of course, Blueberry. We want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank Jeff behind the glass. Don't go away. There's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.